Let's take you live now to the Old Peter Mokaba Stadium in Polokwane in Limpopo, where the official program for the 2024 Youth Day commemoration has just concluded. We do have a reporter there, Katleho Nyoni. Katleho, a very good afternoon to you. Do take us through today's proceedings at the official Youth Day commemoration proceedings. Deputy President Paul Mashatile arguing that the youth needs to adopt the same attitude of Hector Peterson and that of the youth of 1976.
Well, good afternoon, and to our viewers as well. Yes, this main program where the Deputy President was the headlining speaker, Paul Mashatile, has indeed just wrapped up at the Old Peter Mokaba Stadium. We arrived here at 6 a.m. in the morning, where we saw preparations taking place. The first part of this sizable and lengthy program was mostly focused towards entertainment, and the more serious part of the program started, of course, with the newly elected Premier of Limpopo, that is Popi Ramathuba, who was doing welcoming remarks, but also reiterating that it is time indeed for a change in the country, that young people need to start benefiting. And of course, that was followed by the keynote address by Deputy President Paul Mashatile. Now, the Deputy President touched on a number of issues, of course, that we know affect young people continuously in the country. In contrast to the youth of 1976, the youth of today face new struggles of their own, particularly pertaining to youth unemployment. We've seen those statistics there, according to Stats SA, being quite high, and astronomical figures of young people that find themselves unemployed and unable to penetrate the labor market. Now, the deputy spoke about inclusive education system as well that will benefit all young people in the country. He also mentioned that it's time for the challenges that affect NSFAS to be addressed and delved into in order to make sure that that young people that are in need of education at a tertiary institution are not left behind. He also made mention of the fourth industrial revolution, saying that it is very important for South Africa to continue focusing on its efforts towards the fourth industrial revolution by making sure that there is enough ICT infrastructure in the country connecting communities. Also mentioning that they have concluded phase 2 of the SA Connect program. Now, this is where the country is moving towards. He also spoke about issues pertaining to mental health and other issues, of course, affecting young people. But I'm going to bring in a young guest who was also giving an address there inside, speaking to other young people. Now, she was part of a program for the Dintswalos of this particular Youth Day program. Let me bring in Marumo Masemola. Thank you very much for your time with us on SABC News today. You addressed the young people today, and we understand that you also received a bursary through the Solomon Mahlangu bursary. Tell us about that, and what is it that was your key message to the youth today?
So I'm Marumo Masemola, a beneficiary of the Solomon Mahlangu Scholarship Fund. They basically paid for my funding until I qualified as a chartered accountant. And really my message for the youth on this day is for us to just change our narrative. Is for us to stop blaming the government and start taking accountability for our futures. Because as the Deputy President has mentioned, there are multiple opportunities out there that the government is giving to the youth. So I think it's just up to us now as the youth to step out, find those opportunities and take advantage of them to make a living out of those opportunities, because they're very ample, they're out there, they're just waiting for us to come and capture them.
And yet, Marumo, there are still quite a number of challenges. How confident are you that the incoming 7th administration will be able to address those challenges that face the youth?
All I'll say is I think we must give them a chance, and let's see what happens from there. It's still fairly new. I think it's very new to all of us. So let's just give them a chance and see what happens.
Your message to young people again?
Go after their wildest dreams. It might be challenging. There might be certain circumstances that show that it will be very difficult to go after your dreams. But please go after them, because there is light at the end of the tunnel.
Thank you very much. That's one of the young guests who also addressed the crowd there alongside with two others who were part of the Dintswalo program, well-known actor that is Clement Mausa from SABC Soapy Scheme Sam, as well as another athlete known as Alwande Sikosana. Now, the program here has just concluded, and this has been after a very lengthy day. The young people that are currently still here are being entertained and, of course, listening to music. As I mentioned earlier, the Deputy President spoke about a number of issues, of course, and how the incoming 7th administration will particularly handle and deal with those particular challenges, mainly focusing on socio-economic growth.